All right. I need you to sit down because I'm about to show you the worst headline of the year. Probably of the decade. You've never seen something like this. Okay. Are you ready? Let's begin. Listen to this. This is from the PC Gamer. Australian anti-porn group claims responsibility for Steam's new censorship rules in victory against porn-sick, brain-rotted pedo gamer fetishists. What the fuck is a gamer fetishist? And things only get weirder from here, right? So the things absolutely do get weird. For those of you that don't know what happened, there's like this grifting feminist group, which takes a lot of money from donations, doesn't disclose where the donations are. They may be affiliated with the Australian government. But anyway, like they claim that they're trying to protect children, when in reality they are going after the most petty stuff imaginable. Like, they're not going after the cartels, they're not talking about politically incorrect conversations. No, like what they're doing is they're going after soap companies. They're trying to prevent Tyler, the Creator, from singing in Australia. They're going after GTA, okay? Like, this is what they're doing, and they're making a lot of money doing it. So in the recent activity, they decided to target a couple of offensive game on Steams. All of them shovelware. Nobody was playing them. Like, I actually looked at who was playing these games. Absolutely no one. But the way they went around doing their business is what pissed everyone off. It's not the fact that they went after those games, which, in my opinion, like, why is someone from Australia trying to prevent the international market from buying anything? But regardless, you know, they decided to take down those games. But they petitioned Visa and MasterCard in order to do the censorship. Like, in other words, they're normalizing, they're glorifying payment processors censoring the internet. And a lot of right-wingers, especially gamers and other people, have been victims of online censorship for the past decade. And so they don't take this lightly. Like, this is a serious issue. In a perfect society, you do not have unaccountable for-profit entities deciding what people can and can't say online, what people can and can't sell. Like, if the law allows something to be sold, then change the legislation. Like, if you genuinely think that that is so dangerous, change the legislation, right? Don't go to the payment processors and complain. And this is why people are absolutely livid. Now, our story now involves Kirsche, the Foxu, right? Like, do you guys watch the Foxu? Do you watch Kirsche? As you know, she had some trouble with the Vice journalist. It involved her sponsors, it involved brigading, right? Like, I think, like, people insinuated that she's far right, that she's going to start the Fourth Reich anytime soon. They also did it when she was in vacation. Not nice. Not nice. Well, that Vice journalist actually covered this situation. And unlike the coverage of Kirsche, the coverage of Collective Cry, which is the feminist group that started all of this, seemed to be pretty spot on. I mean, it wasn't, you know, like the type of investigation that Kirsche does. Like, they didn't really go in depth to find out who the members of the organizations are, what is their grift. Like, they didn't go that level. But they were pointing out, it's like, all of this seems a little bit bizarre. Like, they targeted some games that nobody plays, and they're now running victory laps. Kind of weird, like they're claiming that Steam took 1,000 games down, when in reality they only took a couple, and those were associated with their DLCs and demos. What the fuck is going on, right? Like, that was the Vice article. Apparently Vice decided to fire that journalist, right? So, like, the journalist that was bullying Kirsche got fired. And I really hate Vice because I can't cheer about this, you know? Like, on one hand, I do appreciate when people that are advocating for censorship, people that are going after other people's sponsors, whether directly or insinuating, you know, it brings me great joy when I see that these people are off the board. That they're not that they're not a player into the race. But the way they were removed from the board in this situation, they were removed while also talking about censorship. And also talking against Visa and MasterCard. And again, like, this irritates me a little bit. I wanted to celebrate, but I can't celebrate. You know, like, for once, The Vice journalist was actually starting to do a good job. Not a 10 out of 10, but like a 6 out of 10. It was a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And so what's interesting is that PC Gamer wrote an article actually defending this journalist, right? So like they're talking about collective shout, which the internet is now calling collective screeching. And they're pointing about like, look how they're helping women and girls, right? Like this is where the donations are going. If they're associated with the government, this is where the taxpayer money and the grants are going. Like phenomenal work. Trying to ban Snoop Dogg and Eminem from Australia, right? Like, I mean, this is definitely going to keep the girls safe. Whenever Snoop Dogg and Eminem is even in your country, all the women, all the girls are unsafe, right? Successful 2015 campaign to prevent Tyler, the Creator, from touring Australia. Again, like at the time, Tyler, the Creator, I believe, was responsible for trying to say that online bullying isn't real. Just turn that shit off. And because of that, he got in a lot of problems with the feminists, so it was probably ideological why they tried to ban him. Successful 2015 campaign to pressure Target and Kmart to stop selling GTA 5 in Australia. It seems like 2015 year was a year of great accomplishments for Collective Shout. Look, like not only did they prevent the evil Tyler, the Creator, for singing in Australia, but they also prevented GTA 5 from being sold in the supermarkets. Holy shit. I mean, I'm thinking about moving to Australia if I ever have a daughter. Can you imagine the level of safety over there? Petition to ban the game No Mercy from sale, which ultimately led to the developers pulling it from Steam. Yeah, this also happened. Like, No Mercy was indeed a video game that was extremely edgy, like trying to piss people off. The whole purpose of it was to push the boundaries. And the boundaries were actually pushed. People from Britain spurred out, people from Australia spurred out. And so, like, the developer became notorious. Initially, no one even knew about the game, but once the spurg out happened, he probably made millions of dollars. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, the game managed to get a lot of traction simply because they talked about it. And so the developer decided to pull it away from Steam before he hurts the ecosystem. Right? So, like, he got his money and fucked off. And now I think he's making another game. But again, victory for ladies everywhere. I mean, girls are much safe now that this game isn't being sold on Steam. An unsuccessful petition to ban Detroit Become Human from sale. PC Gamer is being very generous here by not showing their other accomplishments. Like, for instance, targeting soap companies. Like, just like absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense of a grip. On July 7th, the Collective Shout shared an update to No Mercy Change, calling on supporters to email payment processors, including PayPal, MasterCard, Visa, and Discover, to demand that they cut ties with Steam and itch.io over 100 of problematic games. Now, here's the interesting one, right? Like, this is where I think, like, the Vice journalists got in trouble. They did a little bit too much investigation. They say that child abuse games exist on Steam. The reality is, however, that Steam is extremely careful with this stuff. Like, first of all, Steam has banned any type of game that involves real-life humans. There were actual developers that had, realistic scenes in their game. The games got banned. They don't want to deal with that. The second thing, even if your character is 3,000 years old, but looks as if they're 16, game gets banned on Steam. Even if your character is 18 years old, but is in a high school setting, game gets banned on Steam. Even if your character is 25 years old, but is wearing a school uniform, game gets banned on Steam. Steam is so careful with this shit that there was a game which accidentally left a minor character, I think it was like a 16-year-old girl or something, they left her in one of the files. And it wasn't able to be accessed, it wasn't anything, it was just an asset that they had from like a different game that wasn't adult, and they had like the asset in. Steam immediately contacted the developer and told them to remove it. And so this is what the Vice journalist was saying. It's like, out of all the policies from Steam, the one making sure that the video game characters are mature is the most enforced one. And so far, out of all the games that were removed after, you know, Collective Shout is claiming victory, none of them had any childlike character. So basically, you know, they're dialing the hysteria to 11. These people are fear merchants. They're trying to sell moral panics in exchange for donations. And this is what the Vice article was actually trying to say. And it's interesting that, you know, after that journalist said so many things about so many other people, this is what got them fired. So either Collective Shout has a lot of pull, and a lot of people think they may because some of the individuals there are actually associated with the Australian government. Or maybe Vice Magazine was, you know, already trying to do some layoffs and this journalist was already creating problems for them. Who knows? But it is interesting, right? So they actually reached up to this journalist, and the journalist claims that they fact-checked every single piece of content that they put on. I believe that Collective Shout and its related organizations deserve further journalistic investigation by other reporters in the game industry. I hope more writers look into the clear and obvious sign of payment processors-based censorship that are occurring towards Steam and have occurred against Pixiv, Itch.io, the L-Site, Gumroad, Patreon, and other sites. It's interesting that a lot of people don't notice that this whole pornography thing is also clumped together with hate speech. Like in many of this legislation that's coming up, you know, requiring robust age verification or requiring platforms to do more or payment processors to do more to crack down on this content, hate speech is also tackled on, and disinformation is also sometimes tackled on. So like people are cheering for their own disinterest. The reality is like, look, the far left and the far right, what they have in common is the authoritarian aspect. The authoritarian aspect is unique to both of them, right? So like when it comes to authoritarianism, they join forces. Because authoritarianism is about control. It's about control about what you think, what you say, what you can purchase. And so if you were tasked with helping Visa and MasterCard to gain control over the internet, how would you do it? Well, the best way to do it is to get both of the bubbles, right? Like the left-wing and the right-wing bubbles to agree with each other. And so you sell it to the right-wingers that it's to protect children, and you sell it to the leftists that is to protect minorities. So in other words, to the leftists you say, well, it's important to make sure we protect people against hate speech. And to the right you say, well, it's important to crack down on pornography. And all of a sudden, both sides agree. And this is why, finally, people are noticing what's going on, and they're saying, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, like, these types of video games are disgusting, which is why most people don't even play them. Most people don't even know these video games existed up until you brought them up. But what you're doing is you're empowering Visa and MasterCard, and people are starting to notice. You know, people notice the debanking of Nigel Farage. People notice the debanking of the truckers. People notice the debanking of the January 6 people that were just accused at the time. People have noticed these things. And this is not the type of future that people want. People don't want to live in China. Because if they did, they would go there. It's not that it's a bad place, but it's like, hey, we've been used to living with freedom and liberty. Now, if Australia wants to have a different path, that's great, you know, but like have your morality and your legislation for Australia. Like don't buy these games, don't commercialize them in your country, but don't tell the rest of the world, don't tell the Eastern European, the Polish guy, don't tell the Polish guy what he can and can't buy. Or, you know, like, because if they had their way, the Polish guy wouldn't even be able to listen to Tyler, the Creator. Or Eminem. Which, again, like, not a lot of people listen to them anyway. But it's the principle that pisses me off. Like, I don't like Eminem. Everything that Eminem says disturbs me. But, like, the very principle that you think you can go after this guy for no other reason than you can, and you're using payment processors to do it, now that is the thing that I care about, and that is the thing that I find offensive. More offensive than any of these trash games. Let me know what you guys think. And apparently Legend says that if you like or comment on the video, or heaven forbid if you subscribe, the video actually gets more traction. I personally don't believe it. I think it's fake. But do it anyway. Let me know. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.